The iron gates swung open, creaking with the weight of years gone by. The sound echoed through the empty courtyard, a haunting reminder of the time that had passed. Daniel stepped out, blinking in the harsh sunlight. 10 years. 10 long years had passed since he last felt the warmth of the sun on his face. The world outside seemed almost alien to him now, a place he once knew but had become a distant memory. 10 years he had spent within those cold gray walls, each day blending into the next, a monotonous cycle of regret and reflection. The walls had become his world, a world he had grown to despise yet had learned to survive in. He was free, but freedom felt like a foreign land. The vastness of the open sky, the endless horizon, it was overwhelming. He stood there, unsure of his next step, the weight of his newfound freedom pressing down on him. He had been young and reckless, making a mistake that cost him a decade of his life. A single moment of poor judgment had led to years of confinement, years of lost opportunities and broken dreams. Now, at 35, he was determined to rebuild. The world had changed and so had he. He was no longer the naive young man who had walked into that prison. He was older, wiser, and more resolute. To prove he was more than his past. He had dreams, ambitions, and a burning desire to make something of himself. He knew it wouldn't be easy, but he was ready to face the challenges head-on. Finding a job was tough, his record a scarlet letter. Every interview ended with the same polite rejection, the same look of judgment, but he didn't give up. He scoured job listings, applied everywhere he could, determined to find a way to support himself. He found work at a diner, flipping burgers and serving coffee. It wasn't glamorous, but it was a start. Each day he put on his uniform and did his best, grateful for the opportunity to earn an honest living. It wasn't much, but it was honest work. The hours were long and the pay was modest, but it gave him a sense of purpose. He took pride in his work, knowing that every small step was a step towards rebuilding his life. Each night, he returned to his small, dingy apartment. Loneliness gnawed at him. The silence was deafening, a stark contrast to the constant noise of the prison. He missed the camaraderie, the shared experiences, even the arguments. But most of all, he missed having someone to talk to. He yearned for connection, for someone to share his life with. He watched couples in the park, families laughing together, and felt a pang of longing. He wanted that for himself, a sense of belonging, a place to call home. And so, with each passing day, he worked not just to rebuild his life, but to find his place in the world once more. One rainy afternoon, she walked into the diner. Her name was Sarah. With her bright smile and kind eyes, she was like a ray of sunshine on a cloudy day. He was immediately drawn to her warmth, her easy laughter. They talked, sharing stories over coffee and apple pie. He found himself wanting to know everything about her. She was an artist, her soul as vibrant as the colors she painted. He was captivated. It was the first time he'd felt true hope since his release. As weeks turned into months, their bond grew stronger. Daniel found solace in Sarah's company. She saw past his past, seeing the good man he truly was. He confessed his past to her, his voice trembling with fear and shame. To his surprise, Sarah didn't flinch. She accepted him, flaws and all. Their love blossomed, a beacon of light in the darkness of their pasts. For the first time in a long time, Daniel felt truly alive. He dared to dream of a future with Sarah. One evening as they strolled through the park, a dark figure emerged from the shadows. It was Marco, a man Daniel knew from prison. His eyes glinted with malice. Panic surged through Daniel. Marco's presence could shatter everything he'd built with Sarah. He had to protect her. "You owe me," Marco hissed, his voice a venomous whisper. "And you're going to pay." Daniel's blood ran cold. The past he had tried so hard to escape had come back to haunt him. Desperate to keep Sarah safe, Daniel pushed her away, claiming he didn't love her. He knew it would hurt her, but it was better than putting her in danger. Heartbroken and confused, Sarah retreated. Daniel was left grappling with the threat looming over him. Later that night, a package arrived at his doorstep. Inside was a photograph of Sarah, a red X scrawled across her face. But that wasn't the most chilling detail. Written on the back was a name, Richard Miller, Sarah's father. Section 6, The Price of Freedom. Daniel's mind raced. Richard Miller was a notorious crime lord, the very man responsible for putting Daniel behind bars a decade ago. Now it seemed his past had entangled with Sarah's present. Marco's threat became clear. He wanted Daniel to use his connection with Sarah to get to her father, to betray the woman he loved for a chance at freedom. He was trapped in a nightmare, torn between protecting Sarah and succumbing to Marco's demands. Every choice felt impossible. Section 7. A promise kept. Daniel couldn't betray Sarah, he loved her too much. He decided to go to the police, confessing everything. He hoped they could protect her. The police were skeptical but agreed to help. They placed Sarah under protective custody, her life turned upside down by Daniel's past. Guilt consumed him. He had promised Sarah a future, a life free from fear. Instead, he had brought danger to her doorstep. Section 8. Redemption's embrace. The confrontation was inevitable. Marco had been hunting Daniel for weeks, driven by a vendetta that seemed to consume his every waking moment. The city, cloaked in the hues of twilight, seemed to hold its breath as the final showdown approached. Marco, fueled by desperation and rage, cornered Daniel in a deserted warehouse. The air was thick with tension, the silence only broken by the distant hum of the city. Daniel, though exhausted, stood his ground, knowing that running was no longer an option. A struggle ensued, a desperate fight for survival. The warehouse echoed with the sounds of their conflict, each blow a testament to their determination. Marco's eyes burned with a fierce intensity, while Daniel fought with the strength of a man who had everything to lose. Just when all hope seemed lost, the police arrived, alerted by a hidden signal Daniel had managed to send. The flashing lights and the sound of sirens cut through the darkness, bringing a glimmer of hope. Marco's grip on Daniel loosened, the realization of his impending capture dawning on him. Marco was apprehended, his reign of terror finally over. The police moved swiftly, securing the area and ensuring that Marco could no longer pose a threat. Daniel, though battered and bruised, felt a weight lift off his shoulders. The nightmare was finally over. As Daniel recovered from his injuries in the hospital, Sarah rushed to his side. Her heart raced with a mix of fear and hope, each step bringing her closer to the man she loved. The sterile smell of the hospital did little to calm her nerves. The truth was out, his past laid bare before her. Daniel's secrets, once hidden in the shadows, were now exposed. He looked at Sarah, his eyes filled with a mixture of guilt and relief. Would she understand? Could she forgive him? Yet all she felt was relief that he was alive. Sarah's eyes softened as she took his hand, her touch gentle and reassuring. In that moment nothing else mattered. The past, with all its pain and secrets, was behind them. What lay ahead was a future they would face together, stronger than ever. Section 9. A love forged in fire. In the aftermath, Daniel was cleared of all charges, his name finally cleared. The weight that had burdened him for so long was lifted, and he could finally breathe freely. The joy in his heart was palpable as he embraced his family, who had stood by him through thick and thin. Their unwavering support had been his anchor in the storm, and now, they could all celebrate this hard-won victory together. His past would always be a part of him, but it no longer defined him. Daniel had learned to accept his history, not as a chain that bound him, but as a series of lessons that had shaped him into the man he had become. Standing by the river, watching the sunset, he reflected on the journey that had brought him here. Each challenge, each hardship, had been a stepping stone towards his redemption. He had faced his demons and emerged stronger. His love for Sarah, his guiding light. Through the darkest nights and the most harrowing days, Sarah had been his beacon of hope. Their bond had been tested in the crucible of adversity, and it had emerged unbreakable. Every embrace, every shared glance, was a testament to the strength of their love. Their love, tested by fire, had only burned brighter. The trials they had faced together had forged a connection that was deeper and more resilient than ever before. Each kiss, each smile, was a promise of a future filled with love and happiness. They had walked through the fire and come out the other side stronger and more united. As they walked hand in hand towards a future filled with hope and promise, they knew that the worst was behind them. The path ahead was bright and full of possibilities, whether strolling through a park, wandering down a bustling city street, or walking along a serene beach. Every step they took together was a step towards a brighter tomorrow. Daniel knew he was a free man, not just from prison, but from the shackles of his past. The horizon stretched out before him, filled with endless opportunities. He took a deep breath, feeling the fresh air fill his lungs, and smiled. For the first time in a long time, he felt truly free. Free to dream, free to hope, and most importantly, free to live his life to the fullest. He was finally free to love and be loved in return. The laughter they shared, The tender moments they cherished were all the sweeter for the struggles they had overcome. Together, they had built a love that was resilient and enduring, a love that would stand the test of time. And as they looked towards the future, they knew that whatever came their way, they would face it together, hand in hand, heart to heart,